Kids Ministry Olympics Day. Then I would work a day shift at Express in Gwinnett Place Mall and a night shift at Barnacles. It would be a full day, and I felt completely shot right now. I knew I just had to get to bed. I couldn't let myself do any more unpacking tonight. Maybe 1 or 2 boxes, but that was it. Really, Ashley, you can't get sucked into this. I pulled up to my new apartment and parked right in front of the door. I didn't have far to carry my things, only 10 or 12 steps up the walk. When I got inside, I pulled off my gray knit work shirt and black leather belt, which left me in a white tank top and a pair of baggy jeans. Then I turned on the TV in the living room. Okay, I said, looking at the 5 or 6 boxes lined up in the middle of the floor. Just 1 or 2. While the news played in the background, I began unpacking the boxes and putting things where they belonged. The 8x10 photograph of Paige holding that red flower could go on top of my stereo speaker near the door. The 2 gold angel candle holders could sit on my picture table for now. I was going to hang them on either side of that mirror propped up on the back of the sofa. Now and then as I worked, I heard what the news anchors were saying. The man from the courthouse was still at large. He'd killed 3 people. There was something about a green Honda. I didn't hear much. Mainly I was focused on getting my house the way I liked it. I knew exactly where I wanted things. Photographs, candles, lamps, books, knickknacks, and I just kept going. At about 11, I stopped and smoked a couple of cigarettes. I only had 1 left in the pack now, but I purposely had not gone by the store after work to buy any more because I knew I was going to make it an early night. Looking around the apartment, I changed my plan, just a little. I saw I was knocking out the boxes pretty quickly, and I thought I could be done with this really soon and be able to see Paige tomorrow, go to work, come home, and not have to worry with this anymore. I can finish. I really can. I kept working until all the boxes were empty, setting out the last couple of chunky candles on my picture table in front of the 2 living room windows. Then I stacked up the empty boxes right behind the front door. I had done it. I was ahead of the game. It was after midnight, but I was finished. I smoked my last cigarette and began to get ready for bed. And yet, I couldn't quite seem to make it to bed. I tried to wash clothes, only to find the washing machine in my laundry room wasn't hooked up right. When I threw in a few shirts and some detergent and turned it on, the machine just spewed water everywhere. After that, I kept straightening and rearranging picture frames and knickknacks. My perfectionist streak was suddenly in high gear, and getting things in place like I wanted them ended up being a huge job. Before I knew it, it was going on 2 a.m. I was still awake, and now I was out of cigarettes. Too wound up to go to sleep at this point, and really needing to smoke. I always smoked right before I went to bed. I decided to make a run to the Quick Trip, a mile or 2 from the apartment complex. It was chilly out, so I put on a long hooded beige sweater and a tan knit cap. Pulling the hood over my head, I grabbed my pocketbook and keys, opened the door, and went out into the night. As soon as I stepped outside, I heard a rumbling noise. Glancing in the direction of the sound, I saw a large dark blue pickup truck backing into a parking space at the end of the road to my right, maybe 50 yards away. I didn't think much of it. It was Friday night, and I'd been known to come in later than this. Plus, I'd just moved into this place. I figured the driver was probably a neighbor. I got into my car, backed up, and drove past the truck, rounding the corner to the stop sign. Looking over, I could just barely make out the driver's outline in the front seat. About 5 or 6 minutes later, I pulled into the Quick Trip parking lot on Satellite Boulevard. Right then, I realized I needed to reset the clock on my dash. My battery had died the night before while I was moving. This car was basically on its last leg. It was an '89 Pontiac Bonneville with more than 200,000 miles on it. An Augusta friend had bought it for me the previous summer because it had air conditioning, which meant I could drive my daughter, Paige, around in it when I visited her in Augusta at Aunt Kim's. But I had only driven Paige in the car once. That particular day, Aunt Kim told me to drive Paige straight to her soccer game and back. This was the first time she had let me take my daughter anywhere in a long time, and I broke the rules. I stopped somewhere else with Paige, and I lost my privileges. Now, my car had begun to cut off in traffic. The engine would just sputter and go out, and I'd have to crank it up, praying for it to start again. The battery had flat out died for the first time the day before, when I was moving into my new apartment. I had loaded the car down with a bunch of my stuff and even hoisted my mattress and box springs onto the roof. Things were sticking out of the windows and trunk. The car was almost touching the ground. When it wouldn't start, I called someone I knew to come jump it off and help me move a few heavy items over to the new place. I only had 2 friends in Atlanta, and they were not very close friends. Bending down now to look at my clock in the Quick Trip parking lot, I thought, that time's not right.